you.
Not seeing any other questions. I have too many for the time we have. So I'm going to give you some, but the real question is, uh, in the context of I see you fighting for Mendocino County every day. You have my sincere gratitude, and I know you don't always have the legislative votes that are needed to make the changes that we're after, but we see you step up and try. Um, I don't see my state providing equity. I see in a lot of cases we get our fair share of dollars per capita, but that doesn't translate into parity of services or infrastructure. And this is the real core issue. You know, ignorance was bliss for me. I came in not understanding just how crippled we were. And some examples: broadband, the historic investment. I'm so excited to see it. First time in our lifetime we've seen this much money. And yet we recognize what's coming to Mendocino will not be enough to pull off the goals. We have a hospital that doesn't meet seismic code. I actually believe seismic code makes sense. You want that building to be the last standing. If there's an earthquake, that's where you're going to treat people. I don't think our community can pay to build a new hospital or retrofit it. We can't tax ourselves enough. Water throughout the county, whether you look inland or on the coast. I'm in the town of Mendocino today, and this town doesn't have a water system. We're on private wells, and we're not even talking about water quality yet, just quantity. Skilled nursing facility, we have one on the coast. I I don't know that it's safe. I think it'll probably close. Roads, we have a survey that shows we need 700 million over a 10-year period. We spend 5.8 per year. No matter what we do, if we put all our excess budget towards it, we can't come close. I imagine some of those roads will revert to gravel, whether we're grinding them up or just letting nature take its way. Cartel, the state's cannabis program, it's not our cannabis program. This is Prop 64. This is the state's program. All we do is permit people to get licensed. And the regulation is like asking this county to build a submarine. And you know, I've got Supervisor Jurdy out there with his protractor trying to lead the team. We can't do it, is the bottom line. And it really gets me that the environmental destruction and violent crime related to cartel activity, we can't ask our sheriff to send 2 or 3 deputies out there to deal with a cartel. We need the state to step up and treat this as a state crisis. And then last, housing. We spend a lot of time talking about housing. Can we do tiny homes on wheels? Can we, can we subsidize housing enough? The real issue I see is wages today in our county can't facilitate the modern cost of building. One variable that government controls is building code. We've made it so difficult, so expensive to build that now our workforce can't afford modest housing. Do you Where do we go with this? I don't expect you to get into each topic, but where do we go with the equity issue that it costs more to provide services in a rural county like Mendocino? And if the state gives us an equal share per capita, our people will suffer.
Well, first of all, thank you. You've hit on things that I've struggled with, and now I'm my 8th year in the legislature, and continue to bang away at a lot of these issues. But you're right. The number one issue there is around equity, and for years, I think there's always been the assumption, oh, you live in a rural area, the cost of living is lower. It's not. It's not for a lot of reasons, and so I believe people are actually beginning to see that, and either that or getting really tired of me banging this drum. Senator McGuire and I do this all the time. Just like it is crazy for so many things that come from the state. We weren't even getting our per capita share of revenue in things that go back a ways. We're now at least getting closer to that. But in our smaller communities, what I'm always very frustrated about is that when it comes to certain grants and processes here that the state puts in place, we have to go through, as a smaller county, we have to go through a state entity to get access to federal funds that may be coming for some of this relief. Whereas larger jurisdictions get the resources directly. So it means it takes longer for us to get what we need. And because the state is helping to administer this, they take a cut out of it. So it ultimately we get less, and that's extremely frustrating. I wish there were, the biggest problem I have here is that I'm outnumbered. I represent 5 counties, and I love every inch of the district that I represent. But I have a colleagues, 27 of my colleagues represent part of Los Angeles. And so it's like, one against, I feel it really is David and Goliath, it feels like, and the Goliath being the masses that represent the large urban areas. So we keep looking for ways to create the equity, trying to get more in the things around technical support and other issues. We could talk for hours about each one of the issues you talked about, because and they're all really, really important, and they're all on our list of things that we work on every single day. But be assured that we're doing the very best we can, and are pushing back. And some of these are, water, some of the issues around cannabis, our electric grid, broadband, all of these things are so critical to our communities, and we just have to keep, being as loud as we can, and hopefully be able to, make things better. So
Supervisor Jordy.
I just would like to point out one recent reform by the state of California that's bringing some equity. I think, in my view, to rural California is just the fact that many state agencies are now openly recruiting people to work for them from their home, and that's opening up jobs in Mendocino County and other places where people are now working for the state here, living in Mendocino County, and you know maybe I'm looking at the glass half full here, but I do think that that's actually in the long run possibly going to lead to policy changes and just program changes at the program level, because you have people living locally, throughout California, not just in Sacramento and the Bay Area and LA, working for the state who are designing and implementing these programs. So I do want to thank the state for opening up the state jobs to people to work from home, because again, I do think it's going to better reflect the people of California's wishes for state programs.
if we just make sure they've got really good broadband access, it'll even be better.
Not seeing any more questions. Assembly member, do you have any closing comments?
Just thank you. I know how hard you all work, and I appreciate everything that you do for Mendocino County, especially the last couple of years. Now we're coming up on almost 2 years of dealing with COVID. It's an everyday battle. Our jobs are very different. We're used to being out in the community, and in direct contact with people more, and this has been really difficult. So I just want to thank you for the work you're doing, and I know I'll get another chance. I know at some point to thank Carmel for her work as well as we in the future here. But thank you so much.
Thanks for the time, and we look forward to continue working with you.